Why sports don't feel real anymore. For generations, sports were simple. Two sides, clear rules, a shared belief that what you were watching was honest competition. You didn't need to understand contracts, odds, or even media rights. You just believed. Believed that effort mattered, the preparation mattered, that the better team usually won. And even when they didn't, you trusted that the outcome was real. Today, the trust feels different. Not gone, but strained. And more people are starting to ask the same quiet question. Why don't sports feel real anymore? This isn't about claiming games are scripted. It's not about accusing athletes, referees, or leagues of conspiracies. It's about understanding why the experience changed even if the rules didn't. Because when trust erodes at scale, something structural is usually responsible. For most sports history, the game itself was the product. Fans paid to watch competition, broadcasters paid to show it. Athletes were compensated to perform. Money existed, but it followed the game. Over time, that relationship reversed. The game didn't disappear, but it stopped being the center of the ecosystem. Today, professional sports sit inside a much larger machine, a machine built around media rights, advertising, engagement metrics, and increasingly sports betting. In many cases, the money surrounding the game now outweighs the money inside of it. And when that happens, incentives change, not in obvious ways, in subtle ones. Sports betting didn't invent corruption, but its scale transformed perception. Odds update in real time. Prop bets exist for individual plays, and advertisements run during live action. See, fans are no longer just watching outcomes, they're watching probabilities shift. And when a strange call happens or a questionable decision is made or momentum swings suddenly, people don't just feel disappointed, they feel suspicious. It's important to say this clearly. Suspicion doesn't require proof to spread. It only requires patterns that feel inconsistent with expectation. And modern sports are filled with those moments. Missed calls, unusual substitutions, strategic choices that defy logic. Most of these have explanations, but explanations don't travel as fast as doubt. Part of the problem is that sports are still human, but the systems around them are no longer patient with human error. Referees make split-second decisions under enormous pressure, athletes play hurt, tired, and distracted, and careers are short. Injuries are permanent. Mistakes happen. But when billions of dollars orbit every decision, mistakes stop feeling accidental. They start feeling expensive. This creates a perception problem because even when nothing improper happens, the environment makes people assume it could, and perception matters. Once fans stop believing outcomes are purely competitive, everything changes. Every bad call feels intentional, every loss feels manipulated, every win feels conditional, not earned, allowed. Another shift quietly changed how sports feel. Narrative overtook competition. Modern sports coverage isn't just about what happened, it's about storylines, rivalries, redemption arcs, controversies, and drama. The game is no longer enough. It must be framed, debated, clipped, replayed, and argued. Outrage drives engagement better than excellence. And media companies know this. See, the more money tied to attention, the more pressure exists to keep people emotionally invested. That doesn't require fixing games. It only requires amplifying moments that spark reaction. A controversial call gets more coverage than a clean performance, and an argument trends longer than a dominant win. A scandal lives longer than consistency. So the audience learns what to focus on. And over time, what feels real shifts. Sports betting adds another layer. not because it controls outcomes, but because it multiplies meaning. A missed free throw isn't just a miss anymore. It's a loss for someone, a payout for someone else, a shift in odds. Suddenly, every moment feels monetized. And when everything is monetized, nothing feels neutral. This creates an emotional imbalance. Fans aren't just emotionally invested, they're financially tethered. And financial attachment changes perception. Losses hurt more, wins feel suspicious, randomness feels targeted. The game hasn't changed, the stakes have. There's also the reality athletes face. They are more visible than ever. Every mistake is replayed endlessly. Every decision is dissected, and every expression is interpreted. At the same time, many athletes are managing short career windows, long-term health risks, family obligations, and financial planning for life after sports. Pressure doesn't excuse wrongdoing, but it explains why decisions feel heavier. What's often missing from the conversation is this: trust is fragile. It doesn't require proof to break. It requires inconsistency combined with opacity. And modern sports are increasingly opaque. Rules change, enforcement feels uneven, and accountability feels distant. So fans fill in the gaps themselves. When people say sports are fake, they're not always making a literal claim. They're expressing a loss of faith, a feeling that the purity they believed in no longer exists. That something fundamental shifted, and they're not entirely wrong. The shift isn't about games being fixed, it's about games being embedded inside systems that don't prioritize trust. Systems that prioritize engagement, revenue, attention, and volume. And trust doesn't scale well inside those systems. What people miss isn't perfection, it's sincerity. See, the belief that everyone involved is there for the same reason, to compete, to win, to earn the outcome. When incentives multiply beyond the game itself, belief weakens. And once belief weakens, sports stop feeling real. This doesn't mean sports are over, or meaningless, or fraudulent. It means the environment changed. And environments shape experience. Understanding that difference matters, because when you recognize that systems affect perception, you stop blaming individuals for a collective feeling. And you stop asking who cheated, and you start asking what changed around the game. Sports don't feel different because competition disappeared. They feel different because trust became harder to maintain in an ecosystem built on money, media, and consistent engagement. And once trust feels conditional, reality feels negotiable. That's not conspiracy. That's a consequence. This is Invisible Systems Docs.